Brother, welcome back, BT and Sal. How you doing today?
I'm fantastic. How you guys doing?
We're doing well. Listen, I've listened to you enough, and we've talked to you enough to know how you feel about DeVito. So I know that you were certainly happy that coach named him the starter for the next game. Were you surprised at all?
Not really. It's tough because it's like you have a really good quarterback sitting behind him. Guys that played a lot of football in Tyrod Taylor. He's won a lot of games. His numbers look pretty decent. So to go with a young kid, it was a little bit of a surprise, but not really, because if I would have kept him in, not just because I love him, because he's a Jersey guy,
yeah.
but I think there's something with momentum there. And when you have two pretty decent options, and it's not like one train wreck option, one really good option, the guys they just want to win. That's it. The players just want to win. And Tommy DeVito won 2 games straight, so, it is what it is.
Listen, I agree, and we all have great respect for Tyrod. His contract is up. Hopefully, maybe the Giants keep him. Maybe the Jets get him. Somebody's getting him because he's a serviceable, respected, quality backup who could obviously start and win some games. But the reason why DeVito, I think, should even really get the rock the rest of the way is because you know what Tyrod is, and to me, I just want to get as many answers, ultimate final answers on DeVito as humanly possible. I let him play the rest of the season. I don't know that Daboll will necessarily do that, but is it a game-by-game thing? How do you process that?
No, I think when he announced him, because Daboll usually keeps things close to the vest, until game time. The latest he can possibly release information. That's what he usually does. But there's been 2 times this season I feel like he kind of jumped out a little bit earlier, and it was in both with the quarterbacks. It was when Daniel Jones got healthy after his first injury. He announced on Monday, and then also this week with Tommy DeVito. I think that's saying that, look, this is going to be our guy going forward for the rest of the year. And that's just me trying to read into it, because Daboll gives us nothing. But he gives us something earlier in the week, which is not normal for him. So I think that's kind of him saying, we're going to go with this kid, for the remainder of the year, because the announcement was so early. And I watched Tyrod's interview, and you can tell he was a little taken back by it.
Right.
He was a little bit thrown off by it, and it feels like he was bothered by it. But as a true professional that he really is, he didn't say anything about it. He even pleaded the fifth one time, which was a surprise for me. But he's a very mild-mannered guy. He's not going to, throw a temper tantrum, and that's why he is so good, because he's been a backup for his, almost half of his career. He started some games. But when you have that resiliency, that toughness, and that knowing that, okay, this is how I got to deal with this situation so I can have a job in the future for any other team, I think he handled it quite well.
BT and Sal on the Fan. We're talking with Jonathan Casillas, talking Giants here. Jonathan, I'll ask you the same question I've asked others. And Daboll was asked this question, and he flat out answered it. So I'd be curious, though, your opinion on it. He's going with DeVito because he believes he gives them a better chance to win. This is not a long-term play. At least that's what Daboll said. So I ask you, who do you think gives the New York Giants the better chance to win a football game on Sunday or Monday in this particular case, Tommy DeVito or Tyrod Taylor?
I think it's all about timing. If I say Tommy DeVito, I feel like that's me just being a fan. But me playing the game as long as I played and covering it still, it has to be Tyrod.
Right.
Because he has the body of work. He has the composure. He has been, and Tommy DeVito, he checks the boxes in a lot of the intangible things. And then when you watch him play, the kid throws a good football. So he surprised a lot of people, because not only he's a tough kid, been sacked so many times, 35 times in 4 games, but he shows a lot of resiliency, and he can throw the football. But Tyrod, he's been in and out of, the starting lineup, not because of he can't play, because of injuries. And that's where we find him at now. Another injury that happened to his career that sidelined him again, and he was playing pretty well. He definitely, I think, for the long run, for the rest of this year, with the defenses that the Giants will face, I think Tyrod gives you the best chance to win these games. But that doesn't mean that's the way the Giants want to approach it. Because at the end of the day, there's only one healthy quarterback on the roster that's on the team next year. And it's Tommy DeVito. That's it. That's the only guy.
I tend to agree with you, but I'm just glad you gave me an answer. I appreciate that. And that's why I do think there are other circumstances going into it. And maybe the difference between Tyrod and DeVito is not great enough to where they say, hey, we value winning games more. Let's go with Tyrod. I think it's probably a combination. DeVito has earned the right to keep the job. And also, they maybe want to get a look for the future. What else are we looking for here, Jonathan? What are you looking for to see the rest of the way with the Giants? You trying to see them be competitive against a good team like the Packers or the Eagles? What are you looking to see here as they play out the string?
I'm looking for. I think they might get some guys back. I don't know where Waller's health is at. I know Evan Neal, he hasn't practiced this week, but I would like to see some functionality in the offense and some consistency in the offense moving forward. And then also the defense. The defense, they played well this year. They've been embarrassed a couple of times. Dallas twice and the Raiders. It is rough to watch those games because I know the defense. They have so much potential to be great, if not dominant. And they showed glances of that. And I don't see that being a problem this year because of they're relatively healthy this year. So I expect them to continue to move forward in how they're playing. And I think that's going to help the offense out. And the defense, if it wasn't for the defense, the Giants would have never been in no games because offensively they've been putrid all year besides 2 games.
Yeah.
So I expect them to take steps forward. And then also some of the younger guys, Dexter's been out a couple of weeks. Some of the younger guys can step up and show the staff who is going to be basically the players for next year. Because McKinney's up, you got some guys that are up, and now you're just solidifying who's going to be on the roster for 2024. And there is a chance, small slither of a chance, but I'm not delusional. I haven't stumbled all the way out of my playing days to be the delusional Giants fan that think the Giants will make the playoffs, but they're not out quite yet. So for the coaches and the staff and the players to not think that, hey, man, if the stuff falls the right way, we can possibly make it, you got to be prepared to make it. No matter what. You got to have a good defense. You can't be struggling on offense. You have to be able to put things together to kind of have momentum going into the offseason, whether that's postseason or whether that's for 2024.
Kind of sounds like me. With that, I was holding that torch for the Jets, and they're not out of it yet. And I finally, I get it. I get the optimism, and you're literally not wrong. Jonathan, final thing. Jonathan Casillas, of course, the part of the radio team on the Giants radio network, which, of course, is us here at the Fan, BT and Sal. So you just talked about the offense, and you used the word putrid, so I'm sure it's your answer is going to be part of the offense. But specifically, based on what you thought they would be coming into the year, which unit specifically has been the most disappointing this year to you?
I want to say O-line, but it's hard to – I think it's hard to have consistency and play well, especially along the offensive line, when there's just so many moving pieces. I think Evan Neal has to play better, and they have to figure out for the future what they're going to do with him, whether that's bump him in the guard or whatever the case is. But, honestly, Tommy DeVito, he's kind of saved the quarterback position for the New York Giants because the quarterback position for the New York Giants was the box that they checked when they signed Daniel Jones. And I don't think Daniel Jones played well this year at all. I don't think he looked like he did in 2022 this year. And even when the spot time that Tyrod came in, I think he looked better. I think he made the offense a little bit more explosive, but he only scored like 10, 11 points a game. So my thing is the quarterback play, no matter who was playing quarterback for the New York Giants. They just haven't been, I think, efficient. I think ball placement has been an issue for the quarterbacks of the New York Giants. I think Tommy DeVito, he has played well, and he deserves to start because the quarterbacks that played before him, they weren't playing at the level I think they could and they should be. So for me, everything else I think was a question, especially when you move in so many pieces along the offensive line. But there wasn't supposed to be a question at quarterback when you signed Daniel Jones to that deal and made him basically the quarterback of the future and put him into that category as this is a playoff winning quarterback, which he is. And I just don't think he played like that this year. So I gotta pick quarterback.
Yeah, listen, that's probably the money answer. Jonathan, always a good spot. We will be listening this week. We'll be chatting next week back with BT and Sal. Thanks, bud.
Thank you, fellas. Talk to you soon.
Always.
Thanks,
There he
Jonathan.
is.